Hey, Paul, do you have a superpower? What is it? It's a great one? Okay, what is it? You can stare at people extra long? Yeah? It's great. Well, what does that do? Paul? Wait, is that it? Well, I guess you really do have a superpower. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we will be looking at processor methods. In Java, processor methods can be public or private and can process data from the program to quantify it or make it more understandable. These types of methods have real AP free response question functionality. You must know how to write these types of methods for the AP exam. For all my AP CSP students, this will demonstrate two topics for you, as this is both abstraction and an algorithm. So let's get going. All right, so on another desktop, I have AWS Cloud9 open. So that should be open. And in my last video, I went over some different classes. So this time I want to actually set up a whole new class and create this processor method for you. Let's first go over Mr. Lou's big three. All right, so I have a class called student, and it basically has three instance variables. One is of type string, and it's called name. One is of type int, and it is called grad year. And then the third one is an array of doubles called class grade. That's going to hold all our class grades. We're going to compile those, divide them by how many classes you have, and come up with a GPA. All right. It has two constructors. It has a zero argument constructor. All right, where I just set your name to blank, grade year 0, and it makes a new array of 5 elements. So you're going to have 5 classes in this array. The other constructor, I let you set both the name, the grad year, and 5 grades from English, math, science, fine arts, and social science. Missing a computer science grade there somewhere. Don't leave out your computer science class, kids. And in this one, we will set our local variables equal to our global array elements. Okay, we'll go to the board and discuss that a little bit more. And then we have it to string. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, the instance variables 1, 2 is your constructors, and 3 is your to string method. All right, Mr. Lou's big 3. So let's now add a processing, okay, or a processor method that could actually make heads or tails of this data. All right, so I'll just go right here. Let me zoom in just a hair so you guys can see this at home. And this is gonna be public, and it's gonna return a double because it's gonna be like 3.4. Okay, and we'll just call this calc GPA. All right, do something like that with the curly brackets. This is for my Java language. If you're doing Python, it's nearly the same thing, just without the curly brackets. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and make this great calculation. Before that, I'm going to have to create a coffee cup or a holder to hold the totals that I'm coming up with in the array. All right, so I'm going to make it a double, and let's call it a total. All right, and let's go ahead and set it to 0.0 to start. All right, and then let's use a for loop. So abstraction is the function calc GPA. The algorithm will be this for loop, okay? So this for loop is going to go through the array, add whatever GPA they have for each class, and then come up with the total. All right, so here it is. So for, let's go int I, now let's do index equals 0. Index is less than that class grades dot length. Okay, so you know we can get the length of the array by using dot length. And then let's go index plus plus. There we go. And now let's open up those curly brackets. It just doesn't give me the second one there, did it? All right, and let's show you what goes on inside the for loop. All right, so we're going to go now total plus equals class grades index. All right, now if you don't understand what I just did there, I'm going to go ahead and write that longhand. That's shorthand for what I can do, but I can do the longhand one, which would be total equals total plus class grades index. So index represents the index that you're on in the array, what element you're on. And so it starts at 0 and then goes 1 and 2, then 3, then 4. All right, and then it adds it to total. Okay, so if total was 3 before, the next index is 4. It's going to add that together 7, and 7 is going to go into total. All right, so this is longhand for this above here. Okay, so that should make sense for you. Now, once we got the total of all the grades, you have to divide by how many classes you have. So let's bump outside the for loop. All right, and let's just go total. Let's go divide equals class grades dot length. All right, so again, if I do the long notation for this, that would be total equals total divided by class grades dot length. Okay, so that's the longhand and the short. Of course, you got to make sure you spell length correctly. Okay, and there it is. All right, so now with that said, I think that will just about do it, except for, remember I put double here, which means there's a return type, so I got to return that total. So I'm going to return total. Okay, so there's a nice little processor method. I went through the array and I went ahead and added up all the grades. Okay, and I divided by how many classes you have, and now I should have that GPA in my total. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that, and let's go ahead and compile it. All right, no errors, and then let's CD over into that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Let's CD over into my classes, and then let's go ahead and run my student driver. Oops. Oh, let's try that again. It's not .java. You just do student driver. There it is, and it's Mickey. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to do. So right now in the strings class, I'm just saying do the student's name and graduation, which is what it did. Let's go ahead and add a line here. And I'm going to go ahead and try to copy everything to make it quick. All right, and we'll bump it over here. We'll paste in student's GPA is, and then I'm just going to type in here calc GPA. Okay, so it'll run that function from calling that right there. Okay, let's save that. And again, let's go ahead and go back to my other file, Java see it. Oh, didn't like that calc GPA. Oh, I didn't remember this calc GPA has to have these parentheses after it saying it's a function. Okay, save that. Let's run it again. Okay, there we go. Let's CD over into that file. And then let's go ahead and go Java student driver. All right, there it is. So you see the student's name is Mickey, the GPA is 3.5, and the year is 2020. Let's take a look at the driver. Here is the driver, okay? And so this is where I instantiated the student class. I called it student 1, and then I said Mickey 2020, and I gave Mickey a 4.0, 4.0, 3.5, 3.3, and so now you can easily see that it goes to 3.5. But let's make sure you understand this algorithm closely, okay? So I'm going to put up on the board total plus equals class grades index and show you how that works, okay? So I'll see you over at the board. All right, hello. So now I'm going to come up here and show you how that loops through the index. First of all, let's say an array looks something like this. Okay, and it has, let's see, ours has 5 grades. Okay, and it had a 4.0, 4.0, 3.5, a 3.0, and a 3.0. Now we went through that algorithm, we wanted to add it to the total, and I'm going to go ahead and go to our cup scenario. Okay, and this is total. Okay, we're going to add that to each one of these. And then over here, we're going to have, once again, the total cup. Okay, and this is total. Okay, this really confuses students because I'm adding total. And when I first started coding, this is what I used to do. I had to write total plus that. So using shorthand really starts confusing them, but I'll just demonstrate it here. Okay, so total starts at 0. Okay, and I'll get my eraser ready because we're going to erase these totals. So the first thing that happens is you always go right to left. So 4.0 is going to go into the total cup. It's going to add it, so 0 plus 4 is 4.0. Okay, once again, it still goes from right to left. This is going to go now into this cup, and this cup is going to be at 4.0. Okay, and as it loops through the for loop, it's going to now do the next. Now this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now index is 1, so it's going to take 4.0, add it to 4.0, and now we're going to have 8.0. And it's going to put it over here, and now it's going to be over here. And on and on and on and on and on. Okay, so if you go to these cups thing that I'm saying, just imagine it fills up this cup. A lot of kids say that I can't have x equals x plus 1 in math. That doesn't work for them, but that's because math goes that way. Okay, computer science goes this way. So you can actually have x plus 1 and then fill that scenario up. Okay, all right, so that's how that algorithm looks. And of course, it ends up looking like this in shorthand. It just looks like this. It's plus equals, and then, okay, so there's the same thing. All right, and what it looks like in shorthand. Okay, it just doesn't have that cup in the middle. Okay, it just assumes that that is there. Okay, so that's it. All right, so let's go back over and let's finish this segment. Okay. All right. So now let's go into, let's show you that again. All right, so there is the driver class, okay? And I put everything, it actually put everything into total and then made a calculation for you. Okay, so I could make this a private. I could come in here and make this private. Okay, like a private double. And then I would have to call it from a public function called, let's call it public. It's going to return a double also, and let's say final GPA. And I could just come in here and say, in this one, I could return calc GPA. Okay, so then it doesn't make my algorithm. So if I have some kind of, proprietary algorithm that I want people really to get a hold of, and then they could go final GPA, and final GPA could send it to it. And then of course I would have to go here, final GPA. Okay. And then I would have to, I think in here, I think everything looks good. So final GPA. Yeah. So that would make it a private calc GPA. It's a proprietary algorithm. And then this would give it a little bit of publicity. I don't know if that's the right word. This would make it public. Okay. So that's nice. And that's a nice little algorithm for you. For CSP, if you have to write a quick program for your create task, you could create that little algorithm there. Okay, and that is how private. You're wondering why? Well, when do I use private? If you want to keep your stuff private but yet open it to the public, you just keep it here and all private. You can access private functions from the same class, but outside they could not call calc GPA. Okay. All right, so that's about it for this episode, and hope that you enjoyed it. And remember, always trying to make you great and help you innovate. What, Paul? Oh, yes. And if you have questions, leave comments below, or go to the website at www.themightycodecoder.com, or find me on Twitter at themightycodecoder. Thank you for watching.